Well, just as we're getting ready to wrap up for this festive episode, not wrap up, warm. I got you both on the hook there. You thought I meant that. Gonna ask you about the great Chad Zumock, because I say this all the time. I still have no reason to dislike him, because he was only ever cool to me. But it seemed like the WATP versus Chad feud got really, really serious like that. It wasn't like a gradual build-up of a joke here and a joke there. It was an immediate fuck this fucking guy. Like, no, fuck you. Yeah. So from your perspective, Karl, how much of that was real? How much of that was show content? And what's the latest with the WATP versus Chad Zumock?
Well, listen, it's real. When I would say that I was holding back because Chad had been on the show and Chad and I had some type of relationship behind the scenes. I've mentioned this many times that I didn't think Chad did a great job on my show. He later went on and said he was trolling me on my own show, which I found to be very obnoxious and annoying. But he's reached out to me to have like Reddit threads taken down and different things that people posted about him. And I was obliged. I'm like, yep, that's fine. He's like, I'm up for this radio gig. And if you Google my name, your thing shows up. I'm like, that's fine. I'll take it down. And Chad continued to try to get on my show and get on the radar. And then when he took this tact where he's just like going hard at Chrissy and Frank over and over again with these allegations that are completely false and all shit that Chad does. Talk about buying followers and having sock accounts. And I'm like, okay, this is too fucking much. And then he comes on and he goes, and I'm going to start ripping on Stuttering John. I'm going to start making the Stuttering John money that everyone's getting in. And I'm like, fuck you, asshole. Now you've gone too far. I've been trying to not talk about you, been trying to keep it cool between us, but I had already had a lot of buildup before I brought that up on the show. So it wasn't like I was just like, hey, I'm going to turn on this faucet now. It's like that thing was dripping for a very long time.
Please, please, please. Please clap.
I give you credit for waiting that long, though. I mean, geez, it's insufferable. I always thought that. I was never a fan of his comedy or any of his podcasts. I like Florentine, right? I do like subscribe to the Florentine Patreon. And Florentine has him on or had him on quite often. And I would be like, that's a skip because it's nothing interesting or funny about the guy. He sucks.
Zero. I've never seen him do anything funny. And it's not from a lack of trying. I've checked out a lot of his stuff. He's just a zero. His stand-up, I couldn't believe how bad his stand-up was. I thought for sure it's got to be decent. I know he's not going to blow my hat off. But I thought for sure I'd get a chuckle here and there. And it's just embarrassing. You almost feel bad for the guy when you're like, this is what he's doing and this is what he thinks he's the best at? Fuck.
Yeah, the thing that I find a little strange is how intense he gets with his feuds. Like with Chrissy, she'll make a joke and he'll go, Chrissy, you fucking fat whore, you fucking... And it's like, Jesus Christ. But I don't think, though... I don't think that Chad will ever get to the level that Stuttering John went down to, because I think Chad at least has, I should say for the story, Zumock, at least has a witty sense of humor. Like he at least has the Kevin Brennan show backing him up at the time of recording this, I should state.
Oh, so in other words, Kevin Brennan's funny. Okay, great. I agree with you on that. But also, I want to say this to your premise, because everyone wants to compare Chad and Stuttering John, which is fine. You can make that comparison for a lot of reasons. I know I have. But no one is at the Stuttering John level. There's a reason why there's 80 shows who goof on Stuttering John. It's unbelievable that Stuttering John is a celebrity and exists in this world. He's so out of it and dumb and unfunny and in every single way. So no one is Stuttering John, but Chad Zumock is close. He's trying.
Chad's waiting there. He's going, when are they going to pop up about me? When's that Chad Zumock parody show coming on? Let's go.
Zumock. But do you think that there will be any type of, I can't think of the word, but mending of fences between you and Chad, or to you, is that just it done?
Wasn't anything's a possibility. I mean, a lot of things change. A lot of things have changed for me. Chrissy Mayer and I used to not get along at all. And I've done a couple of shows bashing Chrissy, and now we're pretty good friends. So anything can happen, but I don't see that as a possibility because Chad's approach to life is the opposite of my approach to life. Like, Chad doesn't get it. Like, I recognize in people who get it and understand how to go about their business and how to grow their brand and how to put on entertaining shows and make connections. Chad doesn't understand any of that shit. So I can't imagine one of these days he's going to realize and be like, you know what, Karl? I should apologize to you for coming on your show and fucking it up and trolling you on your own show. Chad's whole thing is always like, guys, if you want to make up, just come and shake my hand and tell me that you're sorry. And then we can make up. It's like, no, that's not how this works, Chad. You're the asshole. Why am I saying sorry to you? Go fuck yourself. So if he ever comes around on this, and maybe, possibly, we could, because we do have mutual friends, obviously. You know, I mean, we did a show with Bob Levy recently. We're doing the live show with Bob Levy here in Rochester. So yeah, I mean, it would be great, but I don't think Chad's ever going to get it.
Well, what do you think of the rumors? Or not the rumors, the opinion that a lot of these recently Chad's been telling some childhood stories pretty rough. There's quite a high opinion of people saying that he's completely made this entire thing up.
I don't think he's made the entire thing up, but it is odd that all of a sudden all these people are piling on him, and now he's talking about what a horrible childhood he had. And why he's fucked up in the head because when I was a kid, my dad, if he didn't have his coffee and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I know a lot of personalities, especially radio personalities, who talk about their childhood, how shitty it was, and how that trauma has led them to decisions they made as an adult. But to bring all of this up now and act like you're not in control of yourself, like, go fuck yourself. We all had shitty childhoods. I've never brought up my childhood. I could tell you stories. I don't try to think about it because I moved on. I'm thinking about the future, not the past. That's one of the other reasons why Chad doesn't fucking get it. You think he's going to get sympathy from people now? It's like, dude, you know that the people who are ragging on you also had really shitty childhoods, right? Like, they talked about it. So this is even playing field.
Well, if it helps, my childhood was fucking perfect. Couldn't have gone better.
Good for you, buddy. I'm glad to hear that.
I'm feeling pretty good right about now, too. But I want to know, is there going to be a sister show called WATZ? Who are these Zumocks? Is that what he's waiting for? Does he want this spinoff? I think that's why he's going so hard, fighting back. I think he wants the spinoff, the Dabbleverse, the Zumock-verse.
Dude, I will tell you, there's enough content to do that show 5 days a week. And it's crazy because people keep sending me like old podcasts that he used to do and all sorts of content from Chad Zumock that I just can't even get to. I really want to break down. I'm excited about this. One of these days I'm going to get to it. The Anthony and Artie show, or Artie and Anthony show on Compound Media. Chad was a guest on that show. And you got Anthony Cumia and Artie Lang and Chad trying to get a word in edgewise. I don't know these 7 words in a 2-hour show because he could not keep up with those two. He's not an interesting guy. He's not witty. He's not funny. He's not a good guest on shows. He can't run a show. He's not a good host. I know he does stand up, and he was on a radio show in Cleveland over 10 years ago. But outside of that, I don't understand why anyone's having him on his show. Even Kevin Brennan on Anthony's show last week. They're like, do you think he's funny? Kevin was like, I don't know. Why do you think the show? It's like, well, because he laughs at the things I say. That was Kevin's answer. Why is he on MLC? I don't know. I rip on people and he laughs. So I like that.
You know, I've got to say that, of course, again, while I like Chad, there's a very funny
Wait, hold on a second. You like Chad? Why?
Until he gives me a reason to dislike him, he's
how about the fact that he's never funny? Is that a good reason to dislike him? Because he's a comic.
Yeah, but I still watch
Saturday Night Live. I'm not mad at my mailman for not being funny. As long as the mail gets here every day, I don't have a fucking problem with him. I have a problem with Chad not being funny because he's a fucking comic.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I don't listen and watch his stuff. I just see the Twitter battles and I think that's pretty funny.
Okay, fair enough.
But just as a cheap plug,
politician,
give a credit to Ski Mask and Jim Stansel's WATP style show, Sad Chad.
I went on their show. What was it, last week or something? I think the week before. So I got an invite to go on their show, and I feel bad because I was also doing "Would You Kindly" with Brian Johnson and Eric Nagel.
The AC/DC guy.
Not that one. Not that one.
Eric Nagel's in AC/DC.
Tell him Steve Dave, Brian Johnson. Anyway, So I went on their show. I thought it was going to be an hour because their show's usually an hour long. We ended up going pretty long on it. It lasted a lot longer than I thought it would. So then I pop over to Ski Mask to do a Sad Chad episode. And Ski Mask himself is taking a phone call from his doctor and playing it on the show. And I'm like, guys, I'm sorry I'm late, but what's going on here? They were like 2 hours in. So I just found out today that he was blackout drunk. Ski Mask was. He doesn't remember being on his show at all. And this was like in the afternoon when I called in. I think he's in Texas, so it was like mid-afternoon for him. And he was blackout drunk. So anyway, I like their show. I like what they're doing. I'm going to give Ski Mask a pass on that. Because I mean, I obviously, Hughezy, I wouldn't hold that against you if you were blackout drunk on a show that you and I did together. I know that wouldn't happen.
Would never happen. I would never.
I'd still be your friend.
I'd never do anything to come across anything but the perfect sober full health. But I have to say, on the latest episode of Sad Chad, it was a fucking disaster because they actually had Kevin from WATP podcast, and my God, was it? They had Joe Takagi had a better interview with Hans Gruber.
Yeah,
it was not a good episode of the podcast at all. To the
they
point
didn't have chemistry. I noticed there wasn't good chemistry going on.
Ski Mask took out his fucking rifle at one point, literally, and it's like, and it's still. I would actually highly recommend go watch Sad Chad episode 3. My God. It's fucking Princess Diana's last night was less of a car crash, but there you go.
Are you sure it's episode 3? Because I was watching episode 7 today, and they had Kevin Dumbfuck on. But I guess he's been on a lot then, huh?
Jesus, I need to catch up.